Hello, my people. Good day to you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever time zone you're listening to this, I appreciate your attention, not taken for granted. My name is Michael Ojola, and on today's episode of Daily Mind Shift, I want us to talk about mental strength again. And we will look at risk taking as one of the ways you show or you know that you're mentally strong. If you take calculated risk, then you're mentally strong. So you're mentally strong if you are willing to take calculated risks. You are mentally strong if you are willing to take calculated risk. And that is what we'll be talking about in a little short minute. Risk is involved in every day. Every day of our lives, we are involved in risk taking. All right, every day of our life, we are involved in taking one risk or the other. Even if you don't go out today at all, because maybe you're scared that something bad might happen to you, it's risky. Taking decision is risky. Not taking one is risky also. So, because life is not void of risk, we need to embrace the reality that every single day of our lives, we will take risk. The person you are dating right now is a risk you're taking. The kids you give birth to, it's risk you chose to take to give birth to kids. Marriage that you are in right now is a risk you took. Your parents giving birth to you is a risk. The job you are doing right now is a risk. The business investment you just put money into is a risk. All right, so taking risk is life. It's like change. Changes will always happen. Whether you accept it or not, the best thing you can do is to change by choice. That's the best thing you can do for yourself. But life can force change upon you. That's not too good. Change can happen by chance to you. That's not really that good. But by choice is the best when you decide to change. So life is risky. You need to understand that. Life itself is risky. And because life is risky, you need to accept the reality that once in a while, every single day, you will be demanded to take a risk, to be involved in one. So having that in your mind and consciously taking calculated risk show you are mentally strong. That shows that you've trained yourself. That shows that you have maturity enough to approach life consciously. So it's important for you to know that you cannot have life devoid of risk. All right, you cannot have anything worthwhile that you want to do involve a form of risk. Sometimes you risk money, sometimes you risk your life, sometimes you risk your health, sometimes you risk your reputation. All right, so if you, for example, do become a guarantor for someone, you are risking your reputation, you are risking your money. All right, so it's important for you to know that life itself is risky and you cannot live life fully without being involved in taking one form of risk or another. So you are mentally strong if you are willing. The key word here is willing to take calculated risk. Are you willing to take calculated risk? I will talk a little bit about how you can take calculated risk, but first let's talk about your willingness, your personal decision to take risk. If you are not even willing at all, telling you how to do it doesn't make sense because you are not willing. Your mind is telling you, no, I don't want to do anything risky. Then you won't achieve anything. If you don't want to do anything risky, you won't achieve anything. Because one thing I know about risk is that it takes you away from your comfort zone. That's why most people don't want to take risk, because they don't want to leave their comfort zone. They don't want to live in the area where they are comfortable. They are already comfortable with the way their life is. So when you say they should do one or two things, you are pushing them away from what they are comfortable with. So they will say it is risky. Even when it is not risky at all, they will say it is risky. Those people, I say they are mentally weak. You are mentally weak when you think everything about life is risky. You're mentally weak, but you're mentally strong when you're willing. When you're willing to take risk, especially calculated risk. So that's exactly what I want you to first do. Be willing. All right. Make a conscious decision that today I will take some level of risk. I'm not saying you should just go out and jump off a building. The law of gravity will whoop your ass. No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying Take calculated. That's why another key word in this statement is calculated. Take calculated risk. That means you've considered the pros and the cons, the advantage and the disadvantage of the decision you're about to make. Do you understand my point? So it's key for you to know that taking risk is good. Not taking risk is more risky than taking risk. But the best decision you can make is to take calculated risk. So are you willing? Are you willing? Now I will tell you how you can analyze and take calculated risk. All right. The first point is do your research. You cannot be involved in taking calculated risk without doing your research. It's hard work. All right. Do your research. Do your due diligence before making any decision. Can you sit down and calculate? Like I said before, consider the advantage of taking this decision and the disadvantage of taking this decision. It's important. It's important for you to sit down and calculate. All right, if I do this, if I take this job, what risk is involved in taking this job? If I go for this interview and I passed, and this is the job description, what risk is involved in taking this job? And two, what risk is involved in not taking it? What are the advantages of this job? All right. What are the advantages of this job? How much are they going to pay me? Will it enhance my career? Am I going to grow? Am I going to become better? What network of people will I be able to network with? Is the money going to be enough to even transport me and give me food? Do you understand what I'm saying? You do the due diligence. You just don't go and jump off the building and say, oh, I got a new job, let me go. You need to sit down. Yes, I know you need a job. I know you are trying to better your life by taking some business ideas, but sit down. If I invest all this money that I have in this particular business, what are the profit? Tell yourself the profit story, and then now tell yourself the truth also, that okay, if this business now did not work the way I think it will work, what are the disadvantages? What will it cost me? What will it cost me? So do your research. Do your research. And another way to take calculated risk is anticipate mistakes. Anticipate them. You need to be smart when you are taking risk. You anticipate potential mistakes before you move forward. Think like 3, 4, 5 moves ahead. What can possibly go wrong? Someone says, when you think something can possibly go wrong, believe that it can. So, what can possibly go wrong is anticipating mistakes. Okay. Anticipate mistakes. What can possibly go wrong in this new decision that I want to take? What can possibly go wrong? So that's one way for you to take calculated risk. You do your research, you anticipate errors that can happen. You anticipate potential dangers in this decision that you are about to make. You anticipate mistakes. All right. Learn to say no also. Yeah. So that's one way for you to emphasize and take calculated risk. You learn to say no. No, I'm not doing this. No, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing. Learn to say no. And I think I recorded one podcast that I said no is a decision. Yes, it's a responsibility. So when you say no, know that you've just made a decision and you move on. When you say yes to anything, you are becoming responsible for the consequences of the yes that you just said. So learn to say no. Set milestones and goals. That's one of the ways for you to take calculated risk. The purpose of taking a risk is to achieve something. You understand that, right? That the reason why you are taking a risk is because you want to achieve something. So set goals. Okay, I've achieved this. The reason why I took this risk is to achieve this. Did you achieve it? What are the milestones? How will you know that you've achieved what you set out to achieve when you decided to take this risk? All right. You are mentally strong if you're willing to take calculated risk. Thank you for listening to me on today's episode of Daily Mind Shift, and we will talk tomorrow. Bye for now.